Dumpleking Productions back. Today we're going to be making a fully custom PlayStation VR stand printed on a 3D printer. Let's get to it. I just bought PSVR, as you know, and I wanted to get a stand for it, because when you normally put it down on like a flat surface, it kind of like does this thing where it like flexes in the middle, and it just doesn't feel like it does it justice. So I decided I wanted to get a stand. So I looked on Amazon, EB Games, AB Hi-Fi, everywhere, eBay, and they only sold them for like $60 like a minimum, and I just didn't want to pay that. So I thought to myself, could I make one? And I've got a 3D printer, so I thought I'll have a look on Thingiverse. I looked on Thingiverse, and I found there's heaps of files that are really good stands that hold it well, but you needed a big 3D printer to do it. Mine could only print probably like 15 centimeters wide, and you needed one at least that could print like 30 centimeters. And I just couldn't do that. Even though the files, they came in bits, like so you could print little bits of it, it still just wasn't big enough to be able to print them. So I thought to myself, what else can I do? And then I realised I can probably design them. I can just make my own stand from scratch. So I went on this website called Tinkercad, and it's where you can make like free 3D models. You can use it as long as you want, you just got to make an account. And it works pretty well. You just sort of put basic shapes together, and you can just sort of mould them together, and they go together really well. So I started designing it, I made a base, and then I put the logo on it, and it looks really good, I thought. So the first thing I did was, I just measured the PlayStation VR off a flat surface, and I realised how high the print needed to be able to hold it in the air, just enough. And I worked out that that was like 11 centimeters at a minimum. So then I designed the base, and I made it about probably 6 centimeters high. And then once that was all good, I put the PlayStation logo on it and made it look nice. Made it a good shape that sort of looked ergonomical, and then I worked on the actual thing to hold it in the air, what's going to cradle it nicely. So I started off with just like a little sort of weird little round ball thing, because I thought it might just be able to sit the foam on it, but that didn't work. It just slid off and just wasn't the right shape. So then I went on to making like these two like sort of fork things that were like hooks, and it sort of was going to sit on the little headband part of the thing, and that didn't work either. After looking at it for a while, I just sort of picked it up with my hands, and I realised that just by like making a little fork with your hands like this, it seemed to just hang perfectly. It hung on the right angle, the screen hung nicely, it didn't look like it was flexing, and that just seemed to work. So I started off by designing it. I went into the program and just tried to copy what my fingers were doing, making like a triangle with two front bits that were flat. I started off, the first ones I made was sort of like they had round prongs coming off, and then a little ball bit on the top to not jab into the headset, and that worked right. It sat on there, but it sort of didn't. It just wasn't sitting right still. Couldn't work it out for a while, and then I finally worked out that it needed to have like flat bits on the prongs so that it would sit nicely and it wouldn't damage the thing and it wouldn't fall off. And then I printed it, and it worked. It held it at the front, but then the post that it hung off wasn't tall enough, so then I had to redo that. I just made it a bit taller, and then it held it perfectly, and I was really happy. I was so surprised, and it didn't take very long to print. Like the little head bit takes about probably half an hour to print, the main bit that holds it. Then the post took probably another half hour, but the thing that did take long was the base. It took about probably 5 hours. So if I was to redesign it, I'd make it so I'd use less material, just be sort of skinnier at the top and go down on more of a curve. So the way it works is, these two little prongs just here, they sit just on this little ridge inside here. It's a plastic little ridge. You can kind of see it. Yeah, there it is. So they just sit on there and just cradle it. And then the other peg goes up inside here and pushes on the head cushion. So to put it on, you just put it on top there like that, and then it just slides into place. So if you've got a small 3D printer, and only print 15 centimeters or probably 10 centimeters wide, you can make this, and it will hold the PlayStation VR perfectly. It won't damage it. It just looks really good. It holds it nicely, and it doesn't take very long to print. So after finishing it, I would like to paint it still. I'm probably going to do a bit of detailing on it, maybe like paint the logo a different colour. Thanks for watching. This was Dumpleking Productions. See you later.
Return to the Mac. Get up what it is, what it does, what it is, what it isn't. Looking for a better way to get up out of bed instead of getting on the internet and checking a new hit. Me get up. First shot, come strut walking. A little bit of humble, a little bit of cautious. Somewhere